Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. Here's some Am I the A-hole stories from Reddit. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend she's going to have to get over dirt if she wants kids? My 25 female girlfriend, Amy, 27 female, is a wonderful person. She's very smart. She works in a clean room with computer chips and stuff, but she's also something of a germaphobe, to the point that she keeps her toothbrush in the hallway outside the bathroom in a Ziploc bag. Her apartment is always spotless. She showers twice to thrice a day. Even her car somehow never has any dirt on the floor. She hand washes all of her clothes as soon as she's done wearing them. It's both impressive and intimidating. I'm not the messiest person on the planet by any means. I don't have massive piles of unwashed dishes or a leaning tower of used pizza boxes or anything, but I'm not as clean as she is. I'm not against making some adjustments, but we've been talking more about the future now that we're getting serious, and I've come across a problem. Amy wants kids, desperately wants kids. I'd like kids too, but she's never been around babies or little kids before in her life and seems to think she'll be able to keep the house just as clean as it is now and keep the baby spotless too. I'm the oldest of 4 and the oldest cousin of 9. I grew up around kids. I've been babysitting since I was 10. There's no such thing as a clean toddler, not for longer than 10 minutes at the very most. She thinks if we just work at it, we have a spotless house and a spotless kid. I told her gently that that's just not possible and asked how she plans on handling diapers, vomit, frogs smuggled into the house, jam going everywhere, soup bowls tipped over for fun, spilled grape juice, nail polish on the walls, and the like. She insisted that the kids who do that are just poorly trained and don't have good boundaries. I told her that they're kids without fine motor control or impulse regulation, and accidents will always happen. And if she wants to have kids, she's going to have to accept that they're going to get messy, and our house will get messy. Amy accused me of not being supportive and trying to find excuses not to have kids with her and trying to guilt her into being sloppier. This is dissolving into an actual fight instead of a discussion, and I'm starting to second guess myself. Maybe my family was just excessively messy because we were rural and poor. Maybe my standards are too low and we really haven't tried hard enough. It's very frustrating and I want some outside perspective, parental perspective especially. Kids are messy and they do track in a lot of dirt, and it is going to be hard to keep a place clean and spotless. She's going to be constantly having to clean, and you're not really going to have time to do that. Maybe you need to, I don't know if you have some friends that have kids that maybe you can babysit for a couple of days, just so that she really gets the gist of how it's going to be. Dad of 2 here, you're not the a-hole, and you're right. Messes are inevitable with kids. You can't work at getting a newborn to not spit up or not pee during a diaper change. You potty training exists, of course, but you're going to be dealing with so many accidents, so many late night sheet changes. You'll find food on your kids in the weirdest, most random places. She needs to lower her expectations and she's going to be horribly disappointed. Exactly. Kids are going to be kids, and kids are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be dirty and tracking in dirt and making messes, and there's nothing that your girlfriend can do. I don't know what the solution to this is, aside from, you know, she's never been around children. Maybe potentially getting a couple of kids and having them come over for a couple of weeks, a couple of days to make her understand what it's actually going to be like. Otherwise, she actually needs to lower her standards, and I definitely agree, you are not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for ruining my parents' marriage by finding my bio father and exposing my mum's lies? I, 19 male, always knew my dad wasn't my bio dad, and it was never a huge deal. I knew that I loved him either way. Mum always told us my bio father hadn't wanted to be a dad and walked out once he learned she was pregnant. When I was 12, I started struggling with health issues, and we were repeatedly asked for family medical background. Mum swore she reached out to ask Bio for any insight on his side, but he refused to give it. At the time, we were told it would be ideal to find out more if we could, but if not, we would do our best to treat me. My dad and I talked about it a lot, and he comforted me when I was upset that this guy who made me hated me so much that he wouldn't even help for a medical problem. It meant added complications and always having to explain to new doctors I was referred to that I only had half my family medical history and could not get more. And really, it just sucked to think he cared so little if I could be seriously ill or not. A year ago, my aunt, Mum's sister, told me that things might not be like they seemed, and maybe it would be a good idea to search for answers myself. She said the worst that could happen is he refuses to answer or gets mad at me for making contact. I asked what she meant about things not being what they seemed, but she was tight-lipped, so I did a 23andMe. I ended up matched with a paternal aunt, and from there, Mum's lies were exposed to me. My paternal aunt was shocked to learn about me, and she told me she was 100% certain her brother had no idea either. She was a go-between for us at first to help set up contacting and a face-to-face meeting. When we met, he had medical info waiting for me, and he told me it was a thing I inherited from his side, and he would be a donor if I ever needed one. He was also apologizing the whole time for not knowing me, and he swore he was never told Mum was pregnant. They broke up because she cheated, and he never heard from her again, or her sister, aunt who pushed me to search, who he got along with during his relationship with Mum. The medical info helped, and I told him I'd have way more questions once I processed. Then I went to talk to Mum. At first she said it was all lies, then asked why I searched without saying anything, and when I told her why, she admitted it was true. She said she met Dad after the guy she cheated on my bio father with left her, and she came up with a lie so we could be a normal family. And she never told my bio about me even after I got sick, because she wanted to keep things as they were. I was hurt, but so was my dad. He was mad she denied my bio father and me the chance to know each other, but also that she lied to him the whole time they had known each other. He felt like she made him complicit in keeping me and my bio father apart, and he was super angry she was willing to make my health stuff more difficult because I didn't have the full background rather than do the right thing and expose her lies years ago for my sake. The medical info I got was actually helpful for my medical team, so it was worth it in that sense. But it has ruined my relationship with Mum, and my parents' marriage is done. Dad wants a divorce and already moved out of their house. My siblings blame me for it because they know what went down between us all. Am I the a-hole? I don't think you are. I think you had every right to go and find your bio dad. If you're sick and you needed to know what it was and where you got it from, then you have every right to go and find your bio dad. As for your mum, she probably shouldn't have lied. Your mum is the a-hole in this scenario, and good on your stepdad or dad, as you call him, for looking after you, even knowing, and treating you as his own, even knowing that you weren't. So good on him, and he has every right to know that your mum lied to him. So I don't think you're the a-hole, but let's see what Reddit has to say. Not the a-hole. Sorry about your mum, but congratulations on having potentially two really great dads. Agreed. What kind of a crap parent lets their child suffer with a medical condition that may or may not require a transplant of some sort somewhere down the line just to hide their lie? How is OP ever going to get over having such a selfish egg donor? I just can't call her a mother. I would gladly accept any humiliation to keep one of my children from suffering. You are not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my in-laws we're getting divorced because my wife cheated on me since they thought I was leaving her because of her weights? I, 35 male, thought I was getting everything I ever wanted with my wife, 35 female, when we were in our late 20s. I truly love her both when she was thin and now that she's plus sized. She became plus sized during her pregnancy and I was still hot for her. But she hated her new body and she felt ugly despite all my compliments. Over the years, she gained more weight and felt worse about herself. More recently, she cheated on me. She had felt so low about herself, she wanted to see if men who didn't have to love her would find her sexy. I didn't have to love her because we have a child together. I love her because she's her. That's really sweet. We're getting a divorce and I wanted the process to be peaceful, but my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, 57 female, were giving me hell because they thought I was a shallow jerk who was leaving his wife because she gained weight during pregnancy. I was confronted by her parents again. I told them the truth. Now my in-laws are giving my wife hell and she's miserable. I don't want her to be miserable. I just wanted my in-laws off my case. Am I the a-hole? I don't think so. Your wife shouldn't have cheated on you. And she definitely should have told her parents the truth and not made you out to be the bad guy. So I don't think that you are the a-hole. I think your wife is. Let's see what Reddit has to say. No, you are not the a-hole. Your wife is, though. She lied to her parents about why the marriage ended instead of getting the therapy she obviously needs. She chose to cheat. Absolutely. If she didn't want people to know about it, she shouldn't have done it. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Most likely wifey told them that to get the heat off of wife. While not telling them the truth is fair, she can't make you the bad guy like that or have a right to defend yourself. My ex cheated on me and I warned her in advance. I won't tell anyone unless you start trashing me. If you do, the truth will come out. Not the a-hole. Your wife was willing to make you the villain in order to gain sympathy from people. You just cleared the air and set the story straight. Better to have the truth out there before the narrative she spun becomes a story everyone believes. There you have it, OP. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for my husband blaming me that he no longer has enough pay time off for a trip we planned a year ago? So, a bit of context. My husband and I are going on a trip next month for a week. International, so we are leaving on a Sunday, a week abroad, and then coming back on a Monday. We booked this trip 1 year ago. Now, when we booked the trip a year ago, he assured me he had enough pay time off. So the past few months we excitedly planned for the trip. Now my husband and I both work very mentally draining jobs. I'm at a hospital. He does heavy community support work with the worst situations you can imagine. We take sick time when we need to, but we both agreed to keep track of our pay time off to ensure we have time for this vacation. We need it. It's been 3 years since our last. We both need the break. Now, his boss says she may not give him the time off despite him requesting it months ago. She says it's because he only has 4 days time off, but by the time we go. I called him today just to say hi. He's been depressed the last 2 days. And then he tells me this. He's livid, angry, and blaming me for booking the trip now and says I have bad timing. And that he used all his paid time off from taking random days off throughout the year. I feel guilty, but we literally booked the trip a year ago and he and I planned everything the past year to ensure it was paid off and we would be all set. I calmly explained that I have no control of when he takes time off, didn't know he took those extra days. I don't want to argue, but I feel lost. He says he might just quit his job to go on this trip, which to me is insane to do because we both need his second income. He also is considering that he wants to cancel his trip, which doesn't seem fair to both of us. He wanted to go last week, and now because of this news, he's all pissed. I told him we can cancel and postpone it, but that set him off. I don't know what to do, to be honest. Look, your husband is an adult. With an adult job, your husband should have been keeping track of his days off, of his paid time off. And you've known for a year, and he's known for a year that this trip was coming up. So he needs to take responsibility for his own actions. If he took extra days off throughout the year that he couldn't afford to take off now that the trip has come around, then he shouldn't have taken those days off. He needs to be aware of his own actions, and he needs to take accountability for it. I personally think you are not the a-hole, and you should just go on this trip with or without him. No, you're not the a-hole, but your husband is. He's also deflecting all accountability for taking his extra time off on you instead of the person who took the days off, him. People just love shifting blame onto other people for their own actions. It really sucks when you're the one taking the blame. He's grown enough to call out, is grown enough to keep track of his leave himself. Your husband is an adult and capable of tracking the days he took off. You're not his mother, and this is not your fault. He knew about the trip for an entire year and should have planned accordingly. Now he realizes that he screwed up, and instead of taking responsibility for his actions, he's blaming you. You didn't take the days off, he did. You, OP, are not the a-hole. One day I want to find one that the person actually is an a-hole. Okay, we've got time for one more. My wife stayed out until 5 a.m. Am I the a-hole for thinking she is cheating? My wife and I have been having a lot of fights lately. I work overnight, and during my shift, she said she was going out with some of her co-workers to drink. They are celebrating one of the guys transferring to another place. What is weird is that my wife runs the store he is transferring from. They end up going to a bar and having drinks. She is with another woman and two guys. The other woman and one of the guys are married. The other guy is single, and he is the one transferring to another store. That winds down about 2 a.m. and she texts me that they are all leaving together and go to the single guy's house. I said, okay, let me know when you leave. She never texted me until 5:30 a.m., give or take a few minutes. She said I'm home in the text. I was worried. Come to find out, she was blacked out all night, throwing up, and came home at a time I do not feel married women should be coming home. I get home from work, and my son had an engagement that we both committed to beforehand. I get her up after her getting a few hours of sleep. I did not sleep. She was in the best mood. She was joking, trying to play with me in ways she never does. All smiles and very happy. It makes me suspicious. I don't know if I should be, though. I don't know if you shouldn't be, though. My wife does not go out a ton, but she is also never this happy and full of laughter. I'm hoping I'm being an a-hole. I want some other opinions on the matter. Am I overreacting and potentially being an a-hole if I feel like something does not sit right with me about the situation? I think you need to have a conversation with your wife and find out exactly what happened. You need to be very clear about how you're feeling about the situation, but I really just think you need to sit down with her and get some clarification. We do have an update. I talked with her last night. She said she was still drunk when I got her up. She agreed that communication was lacking. She did not get defensive and she listened to what I had to say. I told her that if she wants to go out until 5:30 a.m., that is what single women do. She seemed to understand that it is not acceptable to me for that behavior to continue. I feel a bit more at ease. Thanks for the level-headed responses. Oh, let's see what the comments have to say. That winds down about 2 a.m. and she texts me that she's leaving to go to the single guy's house. What on earth? I thought you had a kid and you were at work. Going alone to a single guy's house alone at 2 a.m. is a hard no anyway, but this post is unbelievable also. Then after blackout, she is up and about in the AM and smiley and happy. No hangover. You absolutely should be suspicious. Not the a-hole for thinking she is cheating, but also this post is not at the top of the credibility heap. No one is all smiles and happy after getting blackout drunk. 100% something happened. Either the post is fake or her response is fake. She made up the blackout part to give some excuse for staying at the guy's house late. He couldn't very well say we went to Pound Town. Now, could she? So, OP, I don't think that you are an a-hole for thinking that she was cheating. I think that there's more to this story, and I feel like she made up the fact that she was blacked out while she was at his house. I think something more happened. That's just my opinion. OP, you are not the a-hole. Well, that is all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. It helps me continue to make these videos for you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.